Cincy and I are going to recommend a book to you, club members and anyone else who's watching. Cincy read a great book that was a novel, since.
Yes, and it's called Horse. That's the novel, and it's about a horse by the name of Lexington.
And Cincy and I both just finished a book called Lexington, which is about the horse Lexington, and it is nonfiction. And that's the book we're recommending right now. It really is an exciting story. It describes in detail the state of racing in America from 1950, when Lexington was foaled, until after the Civil War, and he was standing as a stallion. One of the interesting things for us, and I think for the club members, everybody knows that our horses go to Midway, Kentucky, to Blackburn Farm. And Cincy, I'll let you describe the connection to Blackburn Farm.
So Lexington's sire, Boston, he stood at Blackburn Farm, where our horses are, and Lexington was actually born across the way from where our horses are standing at this point. Lexington has such a prodigy of horses that the horse that is next door, his name is Archangelo.
Wait, next door to us here.
Next door to us,
Kentucky.
right. He is here for the Breeders' Cup, and his, help me here.
Well, he's got all kinds of connections to Lexington in his pedigree. Most of the horses in racing today are connected to him. But I think the connection to Midway, Kentucky, and Blackburn Farm is during the Civil War. Some Confederate raiders tried on several occasions to steal Lexington and some of his sons, who were at the farms there right around Blackburn Farm. And Blackburn Farm is on Spring Station Road, and right outside the entrance to the farm there's a little old house, but it's really a train station. There's an old railroad track there, and there's actually a spring with fresh water coming out across the road from the railroad tracks. That's why it's called Spring Station. And the Confederate guys that were trying to steal these horses, and they got Lexington out of off the farm and out of the area there, fleeing from the Confederate raiders, and they loaded him on a train right there at Spring Station Road. So for you club members, you know that our young horses were raised at Blackburn Farm, and Irresistible Force right here, she got her little turnout break for a few months at Blackburn Farm. So there's a real connection there. Exciting story about the Civil War and how it affected racing. And remember, there was no baseball, football, basketball. The only real professional sport at the time was horse racing. And everybody gambled on these races, and Lexington was the top horse. Everybody just was dying for news of when he was going to race again and who he was going to race against and so on. So a very exciting book.
A thrilling book, a really thrilling book.
And completely factual. It's not a novel.
And also, if you're interested, you can go to the Kentucky Horse Park and actually see his skeleton, the true skeleton of Lexington, which is phenomenal. So read this book. I loved it. I wish that it had never ended. It is a page turner. Also, you can get it as an ebook, an audio book, or a regular book, whatever you choose to read. So we highly recommend this book, don't we, Jay?
Yeah, and we're gonna do some more book recommendations in our future videos. We've got some really good books on racing and on thoroughbred horses, and I think it will help you understand what we're doing with these horses. It will give you a better appreciation of the sport and what's entailed, and I think it's going to make you better horsemen and women.